Hey there everyone, this is Jeremy, the Music Andy, and we're here today to talk about Perfect Light from 40 Watt Sun. This is a three-piece slowcore band that has taken a few different genres over the years. We got some doom metal, we got some post-rock, and now on this latest release we have some singer-songwriter and some chamber folk in there. This will be the first album I'm hearing from the band, really the first music I've ever heard from the London band. And I'm very excited because when I see slowcore, post-rock, that kind of stuff, I just know it's going to be right up my alley. So let's dive right into this album. Reveal, the first track, kind of comes in with a guitar that I think goes a lot like Sufjan Stevens' work, but that's immediately erased once I hear these powerful vocals coming in. I'm going to be honest with you guys, when I first heard this track, once the vocals came in, I thought that this was going to be a direction I did not like, and it almost had me go away from the album, but I stuck with it and I'm very glad that I stuck with it. Like I said, this is not one of my favorite songs off the album. I think the guitar melody on this is very nice. You can hear all the hammer-on, the pull-offs, the slides very, very clearly, and it's looped repetitively for you to listen to it over and over again. Honestly, I'm a sucker for these guitar parts that are slower, more delicate in manner, but when they're played, you can hear the snapping of these strings kind of waving off of each other, and it just adds a lot more of a tonal difference than just playing a guitar in a natural way. Despite saying that I like this guitar melody, it really doesn't go past this guitar melody. This is kind of it. It stays with it, which is fine. Obviously I've listened to post-rock and slowcore before, but I think that in these genres you need to kind of introduce more tones, more instruments to keep things fresh and moving forward. I am a fan of the main vocals on this, but I do not like the backup vocals on this. I think it adds like this heavenly touch to it that I don't feel is very needed in this song. Again, having heard this album all the way through, I know that this is not a staple part of the album, and I'm very glad that it's not. The rest of these songs don't focus on having backup vocals, maybe very minimal, but I'm glad that they did without it because I think that the rest of this album going forward is spectacular. Again, I know that I'm saying that this is not my favorite song, but I will say a positive note of this song is the ending section once the strings come in and we have all these different tones and notes filling the air. I think it's just fantastic and beautiful. I just wish it lasted a little bit longer. The payoff leading up to this didn't make it so rewarding to me. Track 2, Behind My Eyes, it brings the bass, the drums in it, just the rest of the band in, and it adds a lot more variety and things to listen to, doing it a very good service. And I believe that this song is in 6/4, if not 12/4, and I love this sense of urgency when songs are in 6/4. It's a little unnatural, but still natural at the same time. The bass walks on this, the drums being fanned, the twinkling guitars are all a very nice welcoming to this song when it pulls you in. Now the vocals on this track are very direct, very clear. There's no fluff going on, and I think that's perfect because Patrick as a singer has a very grand voice. I'm assuming from the metal genre that he was in before. You can really hear it in this. They bring in an EBow guitar, which is just a little device that you kind of put on your string and it continuously strums it. It's used in a lot of post-rock, a lot of slowcore. It adds a nice atmosphere, keeping this song very fresh. This song begins to evolve into a very busy section, but keeping that down-tempo rhythm, and it kind of unfolds like somebody's life in front of you. It's very nice. Once the 7-minute and 30-second mark comes on this song, the emotions really start bursting out of it. Patrick is pleading in desperation for love to stay, for life to break through. I'm not joking when I say this. This moved me to tears when Patrick starts saying sometimes it's so hard to find. The urgency that's on these vocals, just the absolute suffocation of them, it has nothing to do but make me cry, and it just felt like I was being suffocated. I had chills down my body. It was just a fantastic payoff for the ending of this song. This song never felt like it was 11 minutes long. I wish the song kept going, but as often things are in life, everything comes to an end eventually. The third track, once it comes on, it completely took me by surprise. I almost thought this was a karate song playing for a second. The instrumentation here is nothing crazy, but everything is played with such ferociousness. There's such aggression played into these chords that they're just sitting there ringing out, despite it being a very slow, down-tempo song. Patrick's vocals here again are immensely powerful, very clear, very moving, momentum driving. Again, I really want to point out how impressive these instruments are when somebody is playing with such patience, such a reserved nature of it, but again playing with such ferocity. I just can't say enough good things about it. Then again, we have this Ebo guitar kind of slicing through the air, adding a very sorrowful melody to it. The bass player on this album and on this track does a very good job of playing a supporting role while still having memorable hooks and fills. The ending of this song plays a lot like Do Make Say Think with the album You're a Rust in History, one of my favorite albums of all time. Honestly, 3 tracks in, I know I didn't like the first one, but this third one in, I'm blown away by how skillful this band is at playing their instruments, evoking emotions in me, and also just I can hear the emotions that are being put into these instruments played on this recording. It's insane, and it's just a job well done. Track 4, Colors, plays a lot like the first track on this without the backup vocals and the excessive length of it. The lyrics are delivered in this more power ballad kind of way. The guitars are looped, adding some nice tones and textures to the backdrop of it. And the ending guitar little melody, the lead melody, is absolutely fantastic. But again, this is not one of my favorite songs, despite saying all these good things, just because there's not a lot going on. The band is kind of stripped, and it's just kind of Patrick and his guitar at this point. Now this next track, this is the track for me. Track 5, Spaces in Between, it's my favorite one on this album, and it honestly might be my favorite track of the entire year so far. This song reminds me a lot of a Bark Psychosis song, from the loop guitars to the exact same tone on the keys, except this time, instead of being a Bark Psychosis song, it's a 40 Watt Sun song, so we have Patrick's vocals coming in, and I think that these are the best vocals on the entire album from him. This song moves around a lot, it dances between the grand vocals and the very angelic keys. The halfway point of this song really lets the instrumentation kind of take over, exploring different ideas and tones and rhythms. The ending again has me taken aback of how impressive these guys are at creating a song and seeing it all the way through. Fantastic song. Track 6, Raise Me Up, is this almost crawling, dripping desert slowcore song. This feeling kind of carries for the majority of the first half of this song, but the second half of this is definitely the busiest track on the entire album, with the drums really coming alive. Patrick really wondering if he's strong enough to carry all this weight. It's a great song. It's not one of my favorites on this album, but again, it is still a very nice song. 1,000 Miles, track 7, plays a lot like the Spaces in Between, which was my favorite track, but this guitar melody has a lot more moving parts to it. The only thing that it doesn't do as much as the Spaces in Between is that it is a lot more stuck into its main loop and main rhythms and main melody. It doesn't really evolve or progress past that, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just left me wanting a little bit more. Still though, this initial hit of the instruments is enough to carry throughout this entire song, and it's still an enjoyable listen all the way through. Again, another great song from this band. Track 8, Closure, is the final song on this. We don't have much from the band. This is again Patrick and his guitar kind of playing us off in a folky way. His guitar is accompanied by this soft piano at the end, and it does a very good job playing back and forth on each other. I think that this is a great ending to the album, but this isn't a song that I would just throw onto one of my playlists and just listen to it on its own. That's just me though. All in all, ending this, I can't believe that I almost didn't finish this album just because of one song in the beginning. I was going to go and do another review of, I don't know, maybe Pedro the Lion. I almost want to put this as my favorite album of January, but I have to give it to Rough and Beautiful Place from My Dream Fever. So I'm slotting in at number 2, right in front of OG Chemo, which was another great album. I'm going to give this 8.4 chopped onions out of 10 feeling that somebody was chopping onions near me to make me cry, especially on that second track. What did you think of this album? What albums would you like me to review in the future? Please leave a comment below and let me know. Subscribe if you like the content, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. Please check out this album.